Greetings and thank you for being here. We are making a star of harmony for a magical journey through the season with the rose and the bee. In the corner of a small kitchen, where steam often clouded the window and the table was permanently dusted with flour and thread ends, there lived a handful of ingredients: cinnamon sticks, spruce twigs, berries, bells. They lay in their respective jars for most of the year, watching dough being kneaded, socks being knitted, children laughing and being hugged by their parents. One winter, the family that lived there, who loved each other, found themselves so very tired. Work was hard, money was thin, the world outside was loud. Little irritations grew into sharp, painful words that hung in the air like smoke that would not clear. Even when they laughed, there was a shadow underneath. The house itself began to feel out of tune. One evening, the grandmother, who has been watching this with wise concern, took a basket from the shelf, and into it she put a few cinnamon sticks, an evergreen branch, red beads, golden bells, a coil of wire, and some strong red thread. "What are you doing?" the youngest asked. "I'm making a letter to the stars, to call them to sing to our home's heart," she answered cheerfully, though her eyes held a tone of seriousness. At the table she laid 5 cinnamon sticks in the shape of a star and bound their meeting points with wire. Around that simple shape she wove evergreen sprigs, whispering with loving care the names of each family member as she worked. Not as a spell, but as a reminder. We love each other, and we belong to one another. She threaded red beads and bells, tying them on with red thread that looped and twisted, crisscrossing the sticks. Each knot was a silent prayer from her wise, loving heart. May we speak gently. May we listen before we speak. May we remember that we are on the same team. May our hearts soften and our light expand to embrace the joy together that we are. The child watched entranced. When the star was finished, it was not symmetrical in a formal sense. One arm reached a little longer, one bead sat slightly off center, but its presence felt fully alive. "Where will it live?" the child asked. They hung the star of harmony above the kitchen table. At first, nothing dramatic happened. People still snapped at each other sometimes, but every time they did, the little bells on the star rang softly as if startled. The sound was too gentle to be scolding. It was more like a tap on the shoulder. "You're being heard," the bells seemed to say. "Is this what you wanted your family to hear?" Over time, the star gathered apologies and laughter, late-night confidences, and early morning grumbles. The cinnamon dried and darkened, but its scent remained, a faint sweetness in the air, especially when the kettle boiled. Years later, when the children were grown and came back only for holidays, they would look up and see the star still hanging slightly crooked above the table. "Oh, we were a mess," they would say fondly, "but somehow we always found our way back." They didn't know that the scraps in the grandmother's basket had been watching all along, waiting for the moment they could be woven into something that listened. So this year, when you make your own star of harmony, you too might be giving your home a set of ears and a wise, patient heart, reminding all that even when they disagree or feel they must argue, there is still a guiding light in each heart holding everyone together, ringing softly to remind us of how much love we hold within and the goodness of belonging to each other. I will see you tomorrow for the next day on our magical journey through the season at the Rose and the Bee Magical School of Fiber Arts.